and welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between.
We're your hosts, Brandis Daniel.
And I'm Sybil Amoudi.
And thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yes, thanks for joining us. So, Brandis.
Yes.
My prego.
Oh, yes.
How you doing?
I am stuffed right now. I just had a huge meal from Sylvia's.
But go ahead and tell the people what you had specifically. Because I saw black eyed peas. I ain't call you out, but I saw.
I had baked chicken, black eyed peas.
With hot sauce.
With hot sauce. Collard greens and candied yams and a half a piece of red velvet cake and sweet tea.
So we're having Soul Food Friday here in Harlem, and we are just enjoying ourselves. And so how's the pregnancy going?
It's going good. I'm finally feeling the baby move.
Yes.
Which is exciting.
Oh, and he's got his wings. He's been flying a lot lately.
He's been flying. He's been on the go.
Yes.
This baby's been on the go. We went to Essence Festival, which was really incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, incredible.
Uh-huh.
I moderated 3 panels there, but
Woohoo!
I know it was really, really good. It was a lot of fun.
And shout out to who for those panels?
And shout out to Verizon.
Hello. We love Verizon.
Love Verizon. And so did that, and then I got a special treat while I was there.
Nice. Which was?
Layla Hathaway sang to my baby.
Girl, I would have passed out.
It was so sweet. So I was getting ready to take a picture. It was she, me, her, and Kristen from Divas and Dorks. And we were going to get ready to take a photograph. And I asked her, would you take a photograph with us? And she was like, yeah. So she comes over to me and she goes, babies really love for me to sing to them. And she just started singing to the baby. Oh my, of course I started crying.
I love it.
It was so sweet. And then her mom whispers in her ear and tells her to sing this other song that she used to sing to Layla when she was a baby.
Oh, wow.
So then she started to sing that. It was the cutest.
Oh.
It was the cutest. So that was my huge treat.
That's so special. And, oh my gosh, I love that.
So that all happened in the green room. And then I left there and went to Bermuda for Bermuda Fashion Festival.
You're such a baller, shot
Whatever.
caller. I love it. I'm telling you, I just want to be like the zip on one of her garment bags in her luggage so I can roll with her, y'all. My life is so normal.
Please, don't listen to Sybil, guys.
I love it.
Don't let Sybil fool you.
She is calling all the shots around here.
But it was good. Bermuda was great.
Nice.
It was busy.
Nice.
It was really, really busy.
Awesome.
The last night we were there, we had such a great experience. We got a chance to have a chef's chef's table dinner.
Oh, yes.
So where the table was actually in the kitchen.
Love it.
Of this beautiful restaurant, and the table was set up so nice.
Oh, I love it.
And the chef came over and explained every dish, and it was such an experience, being in the back in the kitchen where they were preparing the food and having it was great.
Oh,
so it was.
That's so sweet.
I have had a busy but great 2 weeks. What's been going on with you?
I walked my sister over the altar, child. Yes. The wedding was magnificent.
Your
my sister Minthia, who is my middle sister, just got married. Dr. Minthia Bradley is her new name, married to her husband, Kim Edward Bradley. And it was a huge wedding. Lots of people.
How many people?
About 400 people easily.
God.
I feel like it was probably one of the most, premier events that was happening in Memphis at the time.
Wow.
The reception was huge. It was a beautiful wedding. She was a gorgeous bride, and he was an exquisite groom. And the way they connected on that day, and the way that they've carried themselves throughout the process has just been such an example. And I really, really love them and congratulate them.
Oh, congratulations, Minthia.
Yes, it was awesome. So, Minthia, we love you. Ed, we love you. Congratulations. Ed, you're probably not listening because this is for girlfriends. But anyway, and our whole family was in the wedding. My husband, Kwaku, Sam, and Dilly were all in the wedding. And it was fun. We just had fun.
That is so
Yeah,
cool.
I appreciate that time.
I love it.
Yeah.
And what you eat when you're in Memphis?
Okay, so my food on tap was catfish, spaghetti, sweet tea, and cornbread. Let me tell you something, people. I probably ate that 4 to 5 days of the week.
That's hilarious because
that's all I ate.
And so, for those of you who don't know, in Memphis, spaghetti is a side.
Spaghetti is a side.
And In Memphis, spaghetti is a side, and the rest of the world, spaghetti is a main dish.
Spaghetti is a side dish in Memphis. So I was just so, and I don't even eat pasta like that. So I was just bloated, and like I was having headaches from the sugar, from the sweet tea. I was on this whole other planet, and I was like, I'm already in too deep now, so I'm just gonna go for it. It was amazing. My gosh,
that's hilarious.
I've been on green juice all this week trying to recover from that. But anyway, so we've been having an exciting time planning the podcast and planning all the things that we have in store, and bickering over what we think should go first, the chicken or the egg.
Yes.
And it's been exciting. And I think our first few episodes have been absolutely amazing.
They have been so amazing. Yeah. And thank you guys so much for your feedback.
Yes.
Like, the feedback from you guys have been absolutely overwhelming and incredible. And we're so, we put ourselves out there.
Yes.
And I get crazy vulnerable because Sybil makes me. But I really your feedback is worth every bit of it. So thank you.
Yes. And keep it coming. We're just excited that you're even listening. Like that alone, we could talk to ourselves, but to be able to share what we know with you is just phenomenal. So anyway, today, ladies, girlfriends, we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts, of building a love relationship with a guy. And, I personally selected this topic.
Of course Sybil selected this topic. They know that Brandis did not select and talk about building love relationships.
Brandis want to talk about how to build a strong business partnership.
Yes.
But I want to talk about the mushy love relationship. And I chose this because, all last week I had the privilege of being around amazing women in Memphis and friends from all over the place and cousins, and just a consistent message we hear from women being married and us being happily married from women who aren't married is, how did you do it? It seems so hard. I want to quit because the relationship doesn't seem like it's going to work. Or how do you know if it's worth working for? What am I doing wrong? Or why did this other relationship fail? And I think people are really trying to find their way through that whole relationship process and don't really understand, there are some key things that will kick a man out of your life, right?
Yes.
And there's some things that he'll be like, you my boo.
Yes.
I'm gonna ride with you, So,
yeah.
I have had a wide array of experience in relationships, and I think, Brandis, you may have had.
Yes, I have.
And, I didn't crack the code until I got with Kwaku. And
well, I'm going to tell you, Sybil, I actually am making you the expert
today.
Gosh. Because, and I'm saying that, guys, because I still consider myself a newlywed. So
maybe. I consider myself a newlywed.
You are not a newlywed. The society does not consider me a newlywed, but I do. I'm 2 years in.
Yeah.
And you are, what, 7?
I'm 9 years in.
Girl.
I'm 9 years in.
So she's 9 years in. So I just want you guys to know I'm going to be commenting, but the authority on this is Sybil Amuti.
Well, I'll give whatever I have, because trust me, I have made a lot of mistakes along the way, and I've learned. My husband has been like, nope, that's not a winning move. He'll tell me that right there, you do a lot more of that. That right there, you can cut that way. You can trash that. And I'm like, okay, so you don't like when I talk to you like that. Cool. Learning. So that's why we want to dive into this, ladies, because we want you to not only know how to locate the guy that you think is amazing, but how to also connect with him in a way where you're not forcing yourself on him and you're not, making the relationship hard for him, but you're organically building something that works for both of you.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, especially when you're really ambitious and when you're on your path, no matter what that is, whether it's in a business, you're starting a business, or you are climbing the corporate ladder, sometimes that relationship piece you want it, but you're not really putting forth the effort towards it. So this should be an interesting one.
It really should. And for our independent women out there, this is for you. And the reason why is Brandis and I are and still both very independently spirited, and have learned how to kind of chart our own course. And I came from a world where I was like, I don't need a man, and I still don't need a man, but I don't want to live without my husband. And having that ability to know that I don't need him, I don't want to live without him. I won't do anything to live this life without him. I can,
simple.
That's like, I mean, but that is the truth. It's like,
Yes.
Our moms raised us, our parents raised us to be go-getters and go out there and make it happen and take on this boss role. The part my mom didn't really give me much on was the wife part of it. But along the way, in meeting Kwaku, I learned I don't want to be without this man. So I need to figure out what it is that he loves and what he does not like. And I need to create my blueprint.
I love
Yeah.
that.
And I think the same with you and Rich.
I mean, when I met my husband, I was not interested in a relationship at all. What was funny was, hold on, let me say that differently. I wanted a boo. I definitely wanted a boo. But there was a deep part of me that did not want a relationship. So it was like I said I wanted it, and I pretended like I wanted it. But there was like so much, it was such a hurdle for me to get over so many different things to actually allow myself to be in a loving relationship.
No, I mean, that's you, that's me, that's most of us out there, because there's residue.
Yeah.
And we don't think it's there, and they know it. They can see it from the start. So we're gonna tap into all of that. So that's basically where we're starting out today. And I have some questions that I want to bring to the table around this. And
you're gonna ask me first?
I'm gonna ask you first because as the rookie.
I'm being
self-proclaimed rookie, you being pledged.
All right.
And there's so many things that I see in you as a wife that I think are great that I take away and model. And I see things that Rich adores about you. I can just see where he's like, I love it. And I see sometimes where he's like, Brenda, stop. You can see the both because I know you guys. So what do you think in your experience with Rich and in your previous relationships, but primarily the one that you have gotten that works so well and is your lasting one? What do you think you've done to create connection with him?
I think that there are certain small things that I do on a consistent basis. He's my priority. So it's kind of
so you make him a priority.
Yeah, I make him a priority. So business for me is, HFR is my baby, but Rich is my priority. And I think that is definitely kind of sets order for everything else. But then there's just little things that I do to serve him every day. And so, maybe it's not every day, but it's like maybe 5 times a week.
Nice.
And I think those things help. I really think that they make him, and I'll say one thing is I make his plate.
Nice.
And that's a very Southern woman thing.
Yes.
But for me, it's like, this is the one thing that I can do consistently to show him that I want to be there and take care of him and
nurture.
That he's you're my boo. This is what I'm gonna do for you. That's kind of that thing I do. I think for me, it's just him knowing that he's a priority for me.
So what are some of the other ways that you show him that he's a priority?
I think another thing I do, I run a lot of stuff by him.
Ah, you get his wisdom.
Yeah, I run a lot of things by him. When we first started dating, what's funny is I thought I knew everything better than he did. Sorry, babe, if you're listening. I did. I thought I knew everything. I thought that he just, wasn't up on this. And so, and then he would give me feedback, and sometimes I would discount it. And then I would later regret discounting that. And over probably the past maybe 3-4 years, I'm very, very careful about running things by him, because he sees things totally different than I see them, and I've learned to really value his point of view.
Yeah.
Because I'm very gray. I'm very let's see how we feel about this.
Yeah.
Let's go with what we feel. Let's go with gut instinct, and all that stuff is good, but he sees in black and white. And that balance for me is so good. So I just run things by him, and I think for him, it just makes him feel included in my life. And he knows that there's a big, I'm not going to go make any big decisions without speaking to him first.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of women miss it right there in terms of making a guy a priority. priority. When you include him in your decisions, and when you let him know that what he thinks matters. So it's not just asking him what he thinks, but it's actually activating some of the things that he thinks. Even if you don't agree with him sometimes, it's just to really test out and really show him that his leadership is a priority. So I think that's one of the big things, ladies, great girlfriends, that we really want to pay attention to is making sure that if you do want someone to play a primary role, a relationship role in your life, that you give him the space to lead and give him the authority to be able to make decisions that you can buy into. Right?
Yeah,
you think that's fair to say?
I agree.
No, that's really good. I love that.
So here's what's funny. I actually had the same exact question written down for you.
Stop it!
I swear to you, look. I put Sybil, what's something you do daily to build your love relationship? So I'm throwing this one right back at Sybil.
Well, no, I mean, it's a really good question because it has to be a consistent practice, right? I mean, the days that we don't do the things that we know work, I feel like we become void of certain parts of our relationship. So, that major one, the number one that you gave about making him a priority is also my number one. And being that my husband and I work together and we have 2 children and a number of things that we have going on, we spend a lot of time talking. We spend a lot of time talking about what he thinks, how he feels, like what his perspective is on scenarios that we're facing. Even with the kids, I don't assume a primary role. I ask him, should I do this or that? Should I prepare the lunch tonight, tomorrow? What do you think we should put in the kids' lunch? I include him on the smallest. Even when I'm getting dressed, I'm like, what do you think of this dress?
Right.
Do you like it or not? And he always says I'm going to choose the one he didn't choose. Right. But even still, I think if I stopped asking, he'd feel left out of my process because he knows what that process is going to be. Right. So making him a priority, it has to be number one. And I think even still, when it comes to like dinner and things, I just tell him, I'm like, this is what I'm thinking. Is that cool? Or what do you think we should have? Or stuff like that. And I feel like it continues to build a bridge for us where he can trust sharing things with me, and I can trust sharing things with him, and we can know that when we do it, at the end of it, and I don't get it perfect, ladies, every time. Girlfriends, I miss it a lot because I have a strong head, and sometimes I'm so sure, and sometimes my husband is sure about something totally different, and I'm like, but babe,
right.
but babe.
Right.
And then my spirit says, just rest. Even if it's something that I know has an outcome that we don't want, I have to trust his leadership enough to know that he will make the right decision. Right. So it's knowing when to pull back. Part of that prioritizing is knowing when,
And I don't always get it right either.
No, I think that's it. Because we have our own heads. We have our own minds. And we know the thing that he's taking 4 days to do, we can do it in a day sometimes. I can do that faster, quicker, da-da-da-da. And it's not always about that. It's about the trust for them. And knowing, like, she trusts me with this and she's giving me this opportunity to show myself in this area. Right. So
how do you build 9 years of a marriage?
Girl,
that's a long time. You guys are almost at
the double digits.
A double digit, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
At a decade.
Well, we've been together for 13 years.
Wow.
So I think the biggest part for us, we talked about this just last night, Kwaku and I, is that we really spent a lot of time getting to know each other. We didn't rush. I was not in a rush to be married. He wanted a wife. And so there was a little bit of conflict there because I was like, we could just be relationship, just good girlfriend and boyfriend, and we don't have to do that whole thing. But again, what I said is I don't want to live a day without him. So if marriage was the next step, I needed to learn how to be the woman that he wanted as a wife. Right. I think we spent a lot of time nurturing each other. Yeah. We connect with each other throughout the day. We're texting. We work in the same space, but different zones of the house, different zones of the office. So we always touch base for lunchtime, and it's just a lot of communication. A lot of communication. Even when it's awkward, and I'll say, babe, can I share an observation? I didn't like when that thing happened, or I felt uncomfortable when you said this, or this hurt me when you did that. And he'll tell me, like,
now, here's what I found. When you bring those up, it has to be at the right moment.
The right moment. Yeah,
because,
it can't be.
Girl, that can make great girlfriends. That can make
know the timing on that.
Timing. I have found that I can bring things up that I didn't like or scenarios that I didn't like, but if I bring them up at one time versus another time, it's a totally different outcome.
It's true. Like, not when he's watching the game.
Yeah.
Let him finish that game.
Or not when he just got home from work and he's already irritated.
No. Wrong time. Wrong time. You know, it's got to be the time you have to be sensitive to who you're with and know what his style is, so you know how to meet him where you are. And you have to disarm him. You have to disarm them. You have to disarm them.
If they armed,
it's going to be a long night. It's going to be a long night and an early morning.
That defense mechanism is no joke.
No.
And for me, I think what's been interesting to me about just being married is, because, I mean, we were together almost 5 years before we got married, but I now realize that, Brandis, is this really important for you to say today? Or at all sometimes. Or at all. Is this really important? Like, do you have to, like, bring this up? If it's something that I know, you know, it might cause some type of conflict, even if it's something that bothered me or whatever, I'm like, can I table this until Sunday?
Yeah.
You know, he's off Saturday, Sunday, everything will be relaxed. Can I just table it until then? Because sometimes it's like, just because I'm thinking it right then, don't mean I need to say it right then. It's just not worth it.
And you know, I mean, like you said, you have 5 years and we had 3.5 years. And I feel like other people were counting our years and saying win, win, win. And we were not counting our years and our time. We were building a lasting relationship. Yeah. So we were not in a rush to do anything. Mm-hmm. Even like, you know, a lot of times women, going back to that conversation, because a lot of times women get in and it's been 2 years, where's the ring? It's been 3 years, where's the ring? Yeah. It's been X, Y, and Z years, where's the ring? If you know that you're in a relationship where the two of you are building something that is going to be a forever relationship, then you don't need to go asking about the ring. You just need to be prepared for the moment where the ring's going to happen.
I'm about to challenge you on
I know you are, because I know you.
I mean, I don't know if it's off topic or not. You did just poke a lion, because, I mean, I know somebody who's been with someone for 9 years.
Yeah.
And I know somebody who's been with someone for 9 years and they eventually got married. And I know somebody's been with somebody for 9 years and they have not proposed or anything yet. And that person will ask me for, you know, advice. And Sib, I don't know. I'm kind of like, girl, you ain't getting no younger. Like, we gotta move this train along. And I mean, it's 9 years is a lot, Sib.
That's a long time.
Okay, so when did you draw the line? Because even me, when I was coming to the end of, you know, I think we got engaged at like maybe 4 years or almost 4 years. Mm-hmm. And it must have been 3.5 years. And I was just kind of getting to the place where I was like, I mean, I don't want to rush you, but my age is for real. Like, that number is a reality.
Like, it's happening. Yeah.
It's a reality for me. I mean, there was a point at which I said, okay, Brandis, what are you going to do? You know, it is not about what he's going to do. It's like, what are you going to do? Yeah. And even though he made his intentions clear, I knew he had already talked to my dad, like all that stuff, it was still very, I mean, when you get, ladies, I'm 38, fabulous 38.
Young, amazing 38.
But, I mean, when you get to a certain age and you start dating, and if you want to have kids, that timeline
pressure is
there. Real.
Yeah. But you know what I think?
And this might be a whole other podcast topic.
I think you know when you got an Otis, old Otis, who's dragging his feet. And I think you know when you have a man who's ready to commit. Because I personally feel like men make their intentions clear. They don't just say it, they deliver on it.
They make those intentions real clear. There's no confusion on it.
Yeah, there's no confusion on it. And so I feel like, you know, the girlfriend that's been in that long-term relationship knows whether or not she got an Otis or she got a man who's really into her for the long haul and not just trying to take her time away. That's two different men, because a man that's with you, that knows that you're in your mid-30s and knows that you're ready to start producing a family and going to the next level, he's going to help you get there. That's a dual interest. So it's not going to be you saying, I'm ready to have kids, win-win. It's going to be him saying, it's time for our family to grow. Yeah, that's a different man.
That's true.
And so there's all these triggers, you know, to that. So in building a loving relationship, so I could tie it in, it's important for you to know who you're with and know whether or not he's worth building with.
Yeah.
You got to know that. And you have to look. Men are for me, they're so blatantly clear with their actions and their signs.
They are extremely clear with their actions.
Clear.
Extremely.
People would be surprised. You guys will all be surprised. And at one of our girlfriends' brunches, we'll talk about how foggy my start was with my husband. It was so shady. Like, you just wouldn't, you'd be like, what? Because most relationships wouldn't end this way. But my husband had clear intentions from the start, and he had clear character from the start. And I could see that in him because I had enough wisdom from my prior experience. I took those lessons, I brought all the lessons forward, left the baggage behind, brought the lessons forward, and I applied the lessons to me. When I met him, I was like, oh, he's got great character, I can tell.
Yeah.
He's got steady eye contact, I can tell. He's in tune to me, he's hanging off of my every word. Yeah. And I almost felt like I was too much for him. But he was like, I can keep up. And I'm like, cool, you can keep up, let's go. And he kept up the whole way to the point that at the end of it, I was saying, I want to be a wife.
Yeah.
No, like, I want to be a wife. Versus me in the beginning, like, I'm not really into that, I just want to take my time. And I was like, I don't want to be without this man. Wow. Because his intentions drew me in.
Right.
So if after 9 years you're asking if, let that be a sign. You were not asking if with Rich. You were saying when. Yeah. And you would have walked away from your husband.
Yeah. Ladies, I really think this is another podcast.
Yeah.
We have to get into
dive
this
because
the time frame.
Yeah. And we might need to bring one of our great guy friends on to kind of weigh in on that time frame.
We should.
Yeah. Yeah, but okay, so back to our loving relationship. So ladies, that's part of it. The timing is everything, and also knowing who you're with so you can understand who if it's worth even building with from the start. A lot of times when you make that clear assessment, and we'll talk about that in another podcast, but when you make that clear assessment, you're like, okay, this was a date, and I dragged this date out for years.
Yeah.
And this was supposed to be a weekend. It wasn't supposed to be 2-3 years and a dog. And and then other guys should be like, I need to step my game up because this man is showing me. I'll say this, we have a mutual friend, and she's closer to you than she is to me. She is blooming on Instagram, smiling from the love that she's experiencing with this guy that she's with.
Oh, yeah.
It's so refreshing.
It's so refreshing.
Isn't it refreshing? Can I tell you, I saw some pictures and I cried tears. I was like, I'm so happy to see her smile like that.
Happy.
And it's just like, you can see that this man is doing everything to bring her joy forward.
And he's serious.
Yes.
He has made his intentions.
It's clear. And it just makes me happy to see.
Yeah.
And that's like, okay, when you've gone through enough and you get that relationship that it's time to build on, you make the investment. You give him something to work with, he gives you something to work with, and that exchange happens. So that's not on that. That's not on that.
See, if I got another question.
Okay.
Is there anything you wish you had done earlier in marriage that other newlyweds, such as myself, can take away?
OMG, Brandis.
You see, I keep calling myself a newlywed.
OMG. She says newlywed, such as myself. Yes, there are. There are a few things that I feel like I could have done more consistently earlier, and I think that is reinforcing my husband's esteem. Like reinforcing him. That it's like one of the major pieces. I feel like I left a lot of that to him because I assumed a certain amount of strength, not realizing the pressure that he was under taking on my father's daughter, which is me. Like taking on the responsibility of governing and supporting and being that presence that from my father. So at the altar, when my father handed me off, I became Kwaku's responsibility.
Right.
And I didn't consider the amount of pressure that it puts a man under to carry the weight of that and wanting to give me the world, but having to do it one day at a time.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
He's never not wanted to give me everything I ever desire.
Yes.
It's just that it takes one day at a time.
Yeah.
And so...
And we play such a huge role in our men's esteem. When they what is it? Behind every great man there's a great woman or whatever.
Yes.
I think I said this in another podcast. I can't remember, but the advice at my bridal shower that my mom gave me.
Mm-hmm.
Did I tell you about that?
Yes, you did.
Was, ladies, you probably remember from the last, forgot which podcast it was in, but you probably remember from another podcast when we talked about love before. It was in our other love podcast. And she said, make your husband your hero.
Yes.
And I think it's the same thing that you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yep. Every day, find something amazing to remind him of. Every single day. Do it throughout the day. A text never hurts. I mean, they love to be stroked with words. And a lot of guys will say, I don't need a lot of words until you go without giving them to them.
It's so true.
And
that's how, so this is on a whole nother note, but that's how when you see, like, sometimes there'll be this really beautiful woman and this guy will break up with her for this woman who, you know,
it's a little busted.
Not so much. And people are like, how in the world did that happen?
She knew everything to say to that man.
She knew what to say to him.
She knew how to
made him
meet his
feel
needs.
like $1 million.
That's right.
And you know, that's one of those things that I think about all the time now that, of course, I'm about to have a baby. I'm always like, babe, you're going to be such a great dad. You're going to be such a great dad.
Yes.
You're going to be such a great father.
Because he's afraid of those things.
And
he doesn't know. And he needs you to say
I'm like,
that.
I'm speaking it into him.
Yeah.
You know, and he is.
And what that says is, I trust you.
Yeah.
And that's big to him.
Yes.
No, it's
but I just
major.
keep saying it over and over because I'm like, and he's starting to say it to me. Baby, you're going to be such a good mom. Like, so it's like,
yes.
you know, it's just, I think that's so important.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I feel like we see it. There's a football team and there's the cheerleader. And the cheerleader's role is to lead them towards their victory.
Yes.
And that's our role as a wife, I feel, to be that cheerleader, be that support, and know that they need these triggers. When they leave out the door every day, the world is out there. Yes. And when they come home, they want to come home to a peaceful, tranquil house.
So
they don't want to hear your mouth.
Yes, please.
They don't want to hear about all the different things they need to do, didn't do, couldn't do, shouldn't do.
So
they don't need that. They don't need that.
That's another habit I've tried to build. I'm not consistent with it.
Mm-hmm.
But for a while, I was consistent with it. When he come through the house, like literally like, hey,
yes,
man, you know, and like running to the door,
yes,
and, like,
and kisses, yes.
Because I'm like, I want him to come home to peace. I want him to come home to love. I want him to be happy to come home. Because some people hate coming home.
And what does that say to him? That he went out, he left that morning, you cheered him on. He went in the game, right? He's the player. He goes out in the game, he scores his points, he comes home, and his cheerleader is there saying, you did it, you won.
Yeah.
That's a success. That says to him, my day was victorious.
So
and that equips him for the next day. It's so important. And we have to know, like, when they hit that door, is it time to come with the list, or is it time to just come with a hug, a piece of chicken, the big piece of chicken?
Save the list, ladies.
Save the list, send the list later, talk about it on list day.
Because sometimes, especially on garbage day and the garbage hadn't been taken out, I'm pissed.
Oh, hot. You know you're hot. Because you're looking at it.
I'm so ticked
You're
off.
like, I could have taken it out by now.
Yes. And even on those days, I just want to go in. Why is this garbage still in the thing? Now we got to wait because... I mean, in New York, they only come pick up twice a week.
Yeah.
So if we miss the day, we got to wait another 3 days for the garbage. So that annoys the crap out of me. But I'm just like, it can wait.
It can wait.
It can wait. And is it that important? You know what I mean?
I remember when I was a kid, and moms, this is going to be good for you, but when I was a kid, and my dad would come home like right at dinner time, and right as he was pulling up, my mom would be like, Daddy's home. And we would go out there running and cheering like, Daddy! We would be standing on his side of the car before he could open the door. We were so excited for him to come home and to come in the house and tell him all about our day. And so with my kids, when I hear my husband pulling up, I'm like, he's here. And they go run into the door and they cheer him on. I'm coming in and we're kissing. You know, like we try to set a scene that's loving and engaging. And so I always did it when I was just the wife. Now with the first kid and the second kid and no more kids. But maybe a dog one day. The dog will come running.
But that's funny. That's my other question I actually have for you.
What's that?
How do you continue to build on a love relationship when children come?
You have to make the love a priority. That's going to be very important for you, Brandis.
I know. That's why I'm asking.
You have to include him where the child is concerned. A lot of times with women, when we have our husband in love relationships and we include a child in the scenario, we take that from them and we make them feel like they're not a part of the process. They have to be included. You have to give Rich and other girlfriends, you have to give your husbands the space to make mistakes with the child, to overfeed them, to have that baby diaper running with all kind of poop, to miss it a few times so they can perfect their process, because you miss it too.
Right.
And we have to be able to do that. But likewise, we have to put them first. So there's going to be times where you have to put the children away. You have to tuck baby boo away and spend Rich time. You have to make that a part of your day. It's going to be very complicated figuring out when, but you're going to have to do it, because when baby boo was born,
right,
Rich is automatically going to feel like the practice squad, and he's going to be the leading player on the team, the baby.
Wow.
So you have to let him know how important he is to that process.
Wow.
And then you have to set up date time. We date, my husband and I go on probably 2 dates a week sometimes.
Wow.
We take lunch dates. We go on a bike ride.
Right.
We make, like, let's go on a Dwayne rerun. That's a date.
Right.
Let's go get some chocolate. Let's go, let's take a walk real quick.
Right.
Those are dates. Like
They are.
Anytime that we can spend that time together and we just breathe and hold hands and walk.
Yeah.
But if you don't prioritize that, it won't happen.
That's so
It's
true.
not going to happen. Life will take over, and life will make you think that that's already, the relationship's fine. Then 5 years down the road, what happened? You didn't make an investment in it. So
Ladies,
what's there?
Ladies, I'm sucking in all this wisdom.
Girl, you have to make that investment. Seriously.
I am sucking in all this wisdom
My
with my baby
husband,
bump.
listen, Sam thinks that Kwaku is the greatest man on earth. Dylan thinks that she is married to my husband. Like, she thinks we share a spouse. She thinks that's her man. But that's how into Kwaku they are. He's a hero to them. And I think it's the grace of God that my mom taught me that, and I can teach that to them. Like, Daddy is the champion.
Right.
He's he's the head. And when there's decisions that they would come to me for, I route them to him. Go ask your dad. And if Daddy says something I don't agree with, I go with his decision.
Right.
Because I shouldn't have sent him if I didn't want to trust him. My mom used to be like, go to Dad. My dad would just say no, because he was scared to say the wrong thing. My husband has the permission to say yes, right, maybe, whatever, and we roll with it.
I love that, Sid.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's happy. It's good.
We sucking it in.
It's good. And that's the thing. Ladies, when we're building these love relationships, we need to have friendships that we can be accountable to, are married.
It's true.
And you see someone with a great blueprint, you need to go and ask the questions like, how do you do it?
Yeah.
What did you do right? What you do wrong? And it doesn't all fit yours. Some of it you give and take, but at least you get the wisdom.
It's true. That's so true. This was so good.
I do it. You do it. And we talk to each other about this stuff.
It's true. Sybil, I think that might have been... I honestly feel like we can wrap on that.
We can wrap, yes.
I feel like that was so good, ladies. I mean, for those of you out there who have kids, and for those of you who out there who are about to have kids, like me and Rich have a routine right now. I know this baby is about to, come and let his presence be known. So I really appreciate you sharing that, Sib, and I think that's going to be so helpful for so many women out there.
Yeah. There's one last thing that I will say too. I think it's very important that I did very early, and I think you do it too, is I don't give other people permission to weigh in on my man.
Oh, no.
And that's essential.
Oh, no.
That's a big no-no. That will send me like brass knuckles Vaseline.
Yeah.
No one gets to weigh in on the caliber or quality of my man.
No.
Having said that, I chose very wisely to make sure that I had the person that I'm supposed to be with. Because sometimes you got a knucklehead and your friends are trying to tell you and you miss it.
Right.
But when you're married, it's very important to have a consciousness around people trying to weigh in and give you opposing words about your marriage or your spouse.
Well, I think too that's when you have to be really careful about who your
company
confide in.
Yep.
I mean,
that could be mama,
that could be
dad, sister.
I mean, and if you confide in anyone, because I personally feel like when we have problems, I like to just work it out with him and let that be that on that.
So when you build in that relationship, you need people that are going to support your building process, not tearing you down. So ladies, hopefully we gave you some nuggets to chew on. Some of the takeaways that we jotted down that we want you to make sure you have down are: number one, 1.
Make him a priority.
Number 2.
Include him in decisions.
Number 3.
Know when to discuss issues. Timing is absolutely everything.
Number 4.
Reinforce your mate's self-esteem.
Yes, make that man a hero.
Yes.
Number 6.
Just be accountable relationships to support you in being wise.
Yeah, so know which girlfriends are the ones that are great girlfriends to talk about marriage with,
Yes.
and which ones you want to talk about shoes with.
Yes.
Know the difference. All right, number 6
is make your man a champion.
Yes. Number 7.
Be conscious over people who speak over your relationship.
Absolutely. Anything else you think you want to add in there that we talked about?
I think we covered a lot. I mean, I'm sure we could like go on and on about this topic. I can't wait to hear what you ladies have to say. You girlfriends have to say to us about this. We can't wait to get your feedback.
Yeah. Oh, and number 8, I would say, is don't give up on building.
Oh, yeah.
Don't give up on building. It takes a lot of time, work, and investment.
It's a lot of work.
I mean, if you look at a construction site like we're looking at across the street, there's a lot of work and time and detail that goes into it. Don't miss those details. Don't miss the work. Put in the work, you get the results, right?
It's so true.
All right. Well, first of all, we want to thank our husbands, the amazing Rich Daniel, the amazing Kwaku Amuti, and our family, Sam, Dilly, and Baby Boo that's in the oven, and our moms and dads and sisters that are listening around the nation, and all of you great girlfriends.
For just trusting us as your go-to source for everything life, love, and laughter.
Yes, ladies. And remember to check us out on Instagram. We're The Great Girlfriends.
Facebook, we're The Great Girlfriends.
And Twitter, we are at _great GFS.
And tell all your friends to visit our website at thegreatgirlfriends.com. Share with friends. Keep listening.
And keep being a great girlfriend. I'm Sybil.
And I'm Brandis.
And we're signing off. Bye.